Hello guys, what's up? It's Cheeky Chipmunks just making another video for you today. What I'm thinking I'm going to talk about is some anime I've seen and I would recommend and tell you why they're awesome, because they all are pretty awesome. One of the first ones I want to talk about is Welcome to the NHK. I love this anime. It's pretty much based on NEETs, which is the whole definition of someone who's not in employment, not working, and not in education, and so they're kind of at home in their room, pretty much like a teenager, 24/7. But as I said, it's very good anime which tackles some very dark matters. So like suicide cults is one of them. They've got also just about the pyramid scheme, which is the whole thing of leeching off people who, let's just say, are vulnerable and obviously making them think they want something. Pretty much like consumerism right there. And also stuff like, social anxiety, which I think is all very, stuff which everyone can relate to, because we've all felt maybe one or two of those, maybe not as extreme as suicide. But as I said, it's a very good show about these characters trying to overcome this, and how, they get back out there, and they get knocked down straight away. So it's a very human story, very good human characters, which feel very grounded. I do love the soundtrack in this as well. I've listened to this 24/7. Adore it. It's really good and fits the tone of the show very nice. And really don't repeat much. There's so many different tracks which they play throughout the show and don't repeat, which is really good. And I have watched this basically in sub, which is really good, really good. Haven't tried the dub version, but the sub is just worth watching. It's really good. Now, one of the second ones I kind of talk about is Kids and Stuff. I've watched this twice. It shows it's pretty good, haven't got bored. And it's really basically about jazz. These three kids, or three teenagers, and them growing up, they kind of come together because of jazz, and about just how you can, use jazz to express feelings when you can't maybe say the words, And I think that's so true, because music is a very good medium for expression, and, that kind of looks at that. And just in general about growing up, prepare for a bit of cheese. But it's all a bit of fun cheese, and overall it's a very nice story and still some pretty tuggy heartstring moments, and just very relatable. Really good soundtrack again. The soundtrack when they're playing in the basement is so good. The animation is so lifelike. You really can see all the different strokes and hits, and bass plays. It's really, really good at that regard. And I watched the dub version of this, which is absolutely fine. I found very good voice acting in the dub. Really brought the characters to life. So really good anime to check out there. Now, if you like sort of your more dark anime, we have Black Lagoon. Now, if you're probably an anime fan, you've probably heard of it. It's pretty damn popular. But what it is basically about Black Lagoon, a delivery company, and they deliver so many different stuff. It's kind of, about the whole crime setting, and basically all the different bad guys they face, the situations they go. I like to call this the Black Lagoon is basically a whole lot of swear bombs being dropped. So if you don't like the F-bomb, the more colourful C-bombs, prepare yourself, because it's going to be a lot of that. And the characters are really fun in this. I love the jokes. They're dirty, but they're so good. But it's nice to hear some dirty F jokes and that, in an anime, because you don't get that much. But it's not overused as well, which is nice. Again, really nice animation, especially the fight scenes are really cool fight scenes, especially towards the end of the first season, with certain characters, one with a sword basically, and you've got some really cool, very good characters which all feel like they've got a nice backstory. They're all explored quite nicely. Mainly Revi is one of the main ones, and she's really cool. She's got a very broken past, but is still a good character who pretty much wants to use guns all the time. So I really would recommend this, especially watching it in the dub, because it's one of those shows, I think the jokes just work well because you don't have to read the subtitles, especially on this show. Now, one of the other ones I gotta talk about with you again, like kind of dark stuff, if you like a bit of superpowers, Darker Than Black. Awesome series. This is basically about contractors, is what they're called. They've got superpowers, and then they've got dolls, which basically means they can kind of use stuff to spy. So, they could touch a window, and any windows. I could sort of get a little spectre thing out and be like, just have a little look about. This is a really good series because of the episode stories are really nice, and also it's got a very good overarching plot in more so in the second season, but there's still one in the first season. I found the pacing very good indeed. And what I really liked is that all the kind of contractors had limits. They didn't have a superpower suddenly be like friendship powers and break the rules, because it built that tension, and everyone felt they had a very unique power as well. And I liked how they had to do something after using the power, which sometimes related to stuff they'd done before they became a contractor. So it's really good, and a lot of really intriguing little stories in it, and beautiful battle animation. Probably one of my favourite battle animations I've seen in an anime, definitely. And some pretty cool characters in that, but more of a story I think drives this, and I did watch it in dubbed, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with the dub, so if you really don't want to watch the subtitles, I'd probably recommend the dub. If it's a good dub, watch it every time I say. Now, if you like sort of a bit of mix of everything, a bit more unusual, we've got Angel Beats. Now, oh man, this one is a tearjerker. Watched this 2 times, I've got the tissues out and I've definitely cried. But this is a very good anime about pretty much purgatory in the high school. I know a bit high school, right? Haven't seen that before. But basically it's about these students, and they've had an unfair death, they feel like. It's about them basically passing on and accepting their fate. And there's a lot of really good stories. I'd say this is a very character-driven show, we do really get attached. The comedy is gold. I love a comedy, especially in certain classroom episode where basically guys get blasted in a rocket ship into the roof all the time. And I like how they use the fact that they cannot die in purgatory as some nice little tropes there. But some really unique characters, and I think the pacing was done very well. And some good little sort of, food for thought about just, trying to live your life with no regrets. Beautiful soundtrack. Absolutely love the soundtrack. Again, a CD you just gotta get, because the piano is out of this world. And a very nice graphics, the design of the whole world is pretty interesting. And especially when they do have some battle scenes, some nice animation there. But I'd say watch this in dub, because I've watched it in dub, and you really get to feel the characters more, because the voice acting is superb. That's a lot to say. Now, one of the other ones, if you like your kind of smarts, your cat and mouse ones, I gotta recommend Death Note. You'll probably see the poster behind me. Love it. But this basically is a whole game of a student gets a Death Note, kind of says what it does on the tin, but basically he can use that to kill someone with a name and a face. And we've got the detective who's trying to stop him, basically because he wants to make a better world, fair enough, but obviously you kind of know what power does. It kind of corrupts. So he goes a little bit power hungry. But as I said, it's a very good anime, which, does a lot of moral questions of, if someone had all that power, would it be right, even if their intentions were good? And as I said, it's a really, really good show, which you have to concentrate on. There's a lot of things they chuck at you, but it's paced expertly. And there's always enough for you to wonder about what happened to keep you watching. It's a very good, and I definitely could binge this. And I love the characters. I love the Death Note. I like the Shimogami. They look like a gothic, basically band member. But it's really sick, and just watch this with a story, I'd say, and the characters. And I did like there's a certain death, I'm not going to spoil it, but they replaced with characters, and I did not mind them, despite a lot of people kind of basically going on a bit of a rampage and not liking it. So I thought both halves were just as equally as good, in my opinion. Now, another kind of popular one, which obviously got a second season coming, which I'm excited for, is Attack on Titan. Now, Attack on Titan, the whole story is these titans. They have these massive humanoids, look a little bit daft sometimes, and some super scary. But they basically could eat humans. No one knows why. But they were pretty much driven to this city, these humans, with 3 walls. The Attackans basically new Attack on Titans. And it's a whole story of them trying to battle the Titans, and a really good story about, humanity kind of on the back foot, which, you know, it's nice to see that once in a while at the end of the day. But I'd say with this, it's a really good twist in the story. Overall, pretty well paced one. There's a lot of questions to be answered, but thank God for a second season. But the pace of the first season was pretty good, and I did like the characters. There were some obviously tropes, but overall, I found the comedy pretty good. And what I'd say is the battles were just so good that's definitely kept me watching, especially with the animation. They've basically got these like hook things. You know, if you want to be pretty much Spider-Man, and if you have like blades, swords, and they're just like slicing everything up. Really good animation and awesome to watch. Again, I think I watched this in sub, which is pretty fine. I think I did watch it in dub as well, and I'd probably go dub. Honestly, most of the time the dub's so good, or pretty good, that I do tend to watch it. The soundtrack, again, it's mind-blowing. It's pretty much, if you were in a battle and you wanted to get some music to get you hyped up, you'd play this, because the soundtrack is beast and really, really good. And that's why I'd definitely say that Attack on Titan is worth watching, and it's not overhyped. It's definitely worth the hype. And now, one which I watched, which again, quite a while ago, but I really did enjoy it, was Baccano. I think I've said that right. But what this basically is, it's about a whole three stories which kind of interlink and all come together. And that's what I think is really one of the best bits about it, because there's so much going on. It means you're never bored. And you would think with a huge cast of characters, it would like kind of be hard to make it like everyone, or, you know, get a feel for other characters. But they did that expertly by having these different storylines which focused on different periods and characters, and then they all came together in a whole crazy clusterfuck of good storytelling. But I would say definitely watch this with the characters. You know, the characters are so good, and with all these characters, they're all very unique. You know, which is a hard thing to pull off in itself. But it's a sick anime with a really good story. I love how it came together. It has a train called The Flying Pussyfoot. It's no brainer right there, you know. Gotta watch that. But as I said, this is another really good soundtrack, which does fit the mood, because it's very jazzy, upbeat, kind of fits the tone, because it's a very lot of kind of old gangster period. So that's very good, and I would definitely recommend watching this in the dub, so you can fully absorb the characters and, you know, their jokes, you know, their kind of little humorisms. And again, very good battle action and battle animation, you know, when it had to do it. I'd say it's not more about the battles, more about the mystery, but when it came down to it, very good animation. And I did like the character design, felt very unique in that regard. Now, only two more I've got to mention here, basically, is we've got the flower we saw that day, or Anohana, I think you call it. But all this basically is about a group of friends. Their friend basically died when they were kids, and they all saw it. Or, you know, they were all basically there. And it's about the ghost coming back, and obviously them kind of dealing with that, the friends who, you know, trying to get over their emotions. This is one hell of a sad anime. Again, if you're in a mood and you don't want to possibly depress yourself a little bit, don't watch this. Not saying it's like as depressing as Welcome to the NHK, but it is it's very emotional one. It does tug at your heartstrings. It's beautiful animation, the background art, and this is just one of my favourite art I've probably seen. Very smooth animation as well. I watched the English dub. Again, very good voice acting in that regard. You definitely could feel the emotion. It got a little corny, maybe some would say, but I say overall, you know, it knew how to play everything. And when it came to the final episode, yeah, it got you. If you don't cry, then there's something wrong with you, man. But it is really a very good anime with a nice soundtrack as well. It really fits the mood because it's so peaceful and kind of quiet. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and which is really nice. And it's just, you know, a story about how people deal with, you know, moving on when one of their best friends dies. You know, it's a very good story, and I'd highly recommend it. Also, if you want, again, I would say one with quite an interesting theory, kind of on the whole, like afterlife, is Sunday Without God. And what this basically is this a day where God said no one dies. You know, the only people who could put people to rest is gravekeepers. Now these gravekeepers, there's only some of them. I've been a bit unable to feel emotion in that regard, but basically it explores this world of how societies have dealt with it, different parts of this world have dealt with it. And I love this anime because it's just simply a very interesting concept, you know. As much as I love anime, there are a lot of re-explored areas and tropes, but this is a very interesting lore which does a good job of exploring it. Just has a lot of cool little episodic stories with some overarching stories in kind of arcs, I would call them. But with this, I'd say I watched in dub. I definitely recommend that because the voice acting is pretty good. I don't remember it being bad, but as I said, this is a very nice story with some really good characters, cool characters as well, which are all very likable, you know, and you don't want to bash your head against a brick wall when you hear them, which is always nice. And I would say the art, another one right up there with Anohana and The Flower We Saw That Day and Angel Beats. Really good art, which brings the world to life pretty much. Some nice animation as well, and overall a very intriguing package which has a cool story which makes you think about obviously what would happen. How would society deal with it if no one died? Would it be a good thing or a bad thing? You know? So that's a very, very good anime, and probably one of the last ones I gotta mention is Fullmetal Alchemist. You know, this is one of those staples which a lot of people have heard of, but it is known for a reason because it is so good. It's a very cool story about what if it was alchemy. You know, what if alchemy existed in a world, and it has that whole law of equivalent exchange, where you got to give something to get something back. And I like it because it keeps that central theme throughout the anime. And also with all these people being able to do alchemy, I like that there's still rules. You know, not everyone's overpowered. They all have their limitations, which I love. And I would say for the story is so intriguing, they pace it expertly, and it's pretty dark as well. Again, it does some pretty good. It's not afraid to shy away from basically dark matters, and it does handle character death pretty well as well, which is what I like. You know, it doesn't feel like they just rush it out and they're like, oh, he's gone. You know, they do the death scene as well, you know, when the characters do die, because it's a pretty brutal world and some people are going to die. But definitely some pretty cool characters as well, especially the Fullmetal Alchemist himself. Very cool. I loved him, and I did like Edward Mustang, Colonel Mustang. What a name! But it's a really good character, and I would say pretty good music and action scenes. Watch this for the action scenes as well. The animation is on par, probably as good as Darker Than Black. So definitely one of the best battle animations I have seen. So as I said, those are some of the anime I have seen. I would say probably my top favourite animes. I know it's a healthy list there, but really I would say check them out. There's, you know, got a bit of something for everyone there. If there's any anime you think I disagree with, do you think I'm wrong there, or you know, any you would recommend which you think I would really enjoy or you enjoyed, put a comment down below. Otherwise, have a great day, guys, and enjoy yourself.